Welcome to the Digital Social Hour. I'm your host, Sean Kelly. I'm here with my co-host, Wayne Lewis.
What up, what up?
And our guest today, Dan Fleyshman.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in, man.
I'm excited for this one. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah, this will be good.
Let's go.
Do we even need an intro?
I don't think so. I mean, they should know who you are, right?
I think people know me for different things.
Yeah, Dan the man.
Some people know me for sports cards or acai bowls or masterminds or events or speaking or books, like
or who's your daddy?
Energy drinks, like poker. They know me for different things, so I don't know that. And some people don't know me at all. Obviously, I don't have an ego to it. There's billions of people who have no idea who I am. So I think it's just interesting, different categories of how they know me.
Yeah.
The people that do.
You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. Life is short, and we're gonna die pretty quickly.
How do you want to be known? Like, what do you want to be known for ultimately?
My charity. Yeah, we broke the record for the world's largest toy drive last year.
Damn.
We're going to break the Guinness Book World Records again this year.
What was the record? What was the original
record? We had to do 160,000 toys. We took over SoFi Stadium and filled the whole field up with toys.
Crazy.
But the record that we broke for Guinness was the most toys in 1 hour. It was I think we did 8,000.
Wow.
8,000 toys. You gave away 8,000.
Yeah, Roger filmed it. It was a nuts.
That's insane.
It was the craziest hour of my life watching them process. Anyways.
So people had to come in and get the toys quick.
So we had to take it off the pallets, rip off the plastic, manually count each one in front of a Guinness Book World Record official authority.
Wow.
And now we know how to break it again, but we want to break different records for this year because it's our 10-year anniversary of the toy drive. Yeah. But I think the main thing I want people to remember me for is charity, because I want people to replicate my charity, not donate to my charities. I want them to do their own toy drives, do your own Thanksgiving food drive. You give out backpacks to the homeless. You don't need my backpacks. You give out backpacks to the homeless. So I want people to replicate my charities in different versions that they like.
Why are you so big on charity? You donate millions to charity. What makes you so passionate?
It's so solvable. Like if you really think about the three things that humans need, is food, water, and shelter. There are gazillion-dollar companies that can help fix food, right? Think about how many food companies could fix food. There is infinite capital that could fix water. Water is really fixable. It's really solvable. And shelter, that's the easiest thing if you really think about curing homelessness. And so I feel like my job on earth is to show people how to fix these things, how to donate to these things, because it's so solvable. And it frustrates me because there's so much bureaucratic red tape and so many hard things to get through from the government that we could solve it as private citizens. And so that's why I'm always preaching about how to do charity, how to do it efficiently, how to do it easily, how you don't need a bunch of money to do it. You just got to use your social media power and use your cell phone, and you can do charity too.
Wow. Do you think they're paying attention to what you're doing so that they can replicate it or even shine light on it? Because really, I found out about your charity by just, paying attention to you. And, most people kind of, want to turn the blind side when it comes to giving back.
Yep. That's why I talk about the ways to give to charities without using money. So I think that's what holds a lot of people back, is either greed or nervousness, or thinking, I don't have enough money to donate to charity, or my $100 or $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 is not going to do enough.
Right.
I walk people through showing them how you don't need any money at all. You could do a toy drive, Philadelphia, Mexico, anywhere you are in the world, with your cell phone. Just getting people together, meeting at a building, telling them a date when to meet there, asking people to donate toys or food or homeless supplies or whatever. You don't need capital. You just need a cell phone and to rally the people together. And so I'm trying to remove that fear that people have of I don't do charity, or I don't want to donate to that because I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I don't have the money. I remove all those fears by showing them you don't need money to do charity. You need energy, time, and passion.
Right.
Gotcha.
You're also big on animals. You started an animal sanctuary.
Yeah.
Can you tell everyone what animals you have and why you started it?
So we have 26 acres. It's in Temecula, right above San Diego. There's a guy named the real Tarzan.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
So I convinced him to move there.
Oh, he lives there.
He lives there full time. He lives 30 yards from my house. He's right there.
Oh, I always thought he lived in Miami.
He did live in Miami.
Okay.
I convinced him to move there, and I said, hey, I'm building this 26-acre place. Half the place, so basically 9 to 12 acres, will be yours for an animal sanctuary. And you can build what's called the wild jungle, WYLD. So you go to Instagram, look at wild jungle, and you'll see Tarzan there, ostriches, camels, zebras, everything in between. We have over 85 animals that we've either rescued or helped acquire to protect. And we keep getting more and more animals each week. And we're building Wild Jungle into be a full-fledged brand where we can then donate millions of dollars to animal preservation and rescues. And so it started first, my wife really likes animals, so I wanted to have a ranch that had animals. Then when I realized the ranch that we were getting had a lot of topography, space, mountains and cool areas, whatever, and was zoned to allow it to have animals, that's when I was well, I know Tarzan for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
What if I can convince him to move there, and then I
Yeah.
can take it to a whole nother level? And now you guys can see it on social media. It's like, it's wild.
Wow, that's sick. I never knew that.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was. I swear, I thought Tarzan stayed in Miami.
12:30 a.m. last night. We were outside. My wife's out there. We all had to get out of bed because one of the goats had a baby, and so you got Tarzan, like waking up, giving birth to helping a goat give birth, cleaning it off. It's messy. I don't want to describe it, And then 6 a.m, he's making content, getting like 50 million views on a video, going to clean up poop, going to fly to India tonight to go make content like
India.
He's literally flying to India to go make content with king cobras and anyways, he's the perfect brand for like my world. And so I'm really excited to have him living with us and making this content because he's helping animals. We're making all this content together. It's
What's the most dangerous animal you have there? That you're even scared of? Like, nah, I'm not touching it.
the only animal I'm scared of is humans.
Whoa. That's a quote right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I learned that one from Tarzan.
Wow.
Because it's the only animal on this planet that you don't know their intentions. I know what a snake wants to do. I know what a tiger wants to do. I know what a bear wants to do when it sees me. I don't know what humans want to do.
Wow. What's your favorite animal on the ranch?
There's a camel named Habibi.
Ooh.
Habibi was the very first camel, very first animal that we got. And like when I see him and he sees me, we're just like,
So he knows exactly who you are.
Yeah, well, I'm going to bring him carrots. So that's why he gets excited. And then we got him a girlfriend. Her name's Naomi Camel. This is my favorite name. It's my favorite name on the property.
That's fun.
So yeah, that's my favorite animal.
You're also the networking king. You started the most expensive mastermind in the world, $100,000 a year to join. How did you get such a big network?
So I was throwing free events for years, and I still throw them, called Elevator Night. I've thrown it 51 times for free. No tickets, no sponsors, no sales on stage, just free. And it was my excuse to get a lot of people together, and then I could invite really good name speakers. It's a free event, I'd still get Russell Simmons, Jake Paul, all these guys that normally get paid a lot of money to speak were coming to speak for free because they knew I was getting 300 to 1,000 entrepreneurs for free. Like a lot of your networking events, same concept. And so I did that for years, and then I started speaking at a bunch of people's masterminds. And it felt like people were paying 25 grand, 30 grand, 35 grand to be at like the Radisson Ballroom. There was no experience to it. And I felt like I was like in Groundhog Day, just going through the same thing over and over and over. And there was very few masterminds that had like experience to it. So I came up with 100 million mastermind experience. 2019, I had not thrown a mastermind before. I just spoke at masterminds. And I just showed people, like Sean, you were one of the first people to join, I'm going to make the most experiential mastermind ever. It's very expensive. It's $100,000 per person, but I'm not doing it for profit. I'm going to go spend millions of dollars per event. So I would spend $1 to $2 million per weekend to throw these masterminds. The first event you came to, I spent $3.2 million in 3 days.
How was that?
Dude, the people he had, I believe it. It was amazing. It changed my life.
I rented Dan Bilzerian's mansion.
Here in Vegas?
The LA one.
Oh, the LA one.
The crazy, looks like a compound. It's not even a house. I don't know what kind of mansion. It's freaking, it looks like a palace. We rented an $80 million house on Sunset. We rented out the Porsche Experience. We had Mark Wahlberg as our first speaker. Bruce Buffer introducing everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had Kris Jenner, Magic Johnson, Dennis Rodman, Tyga performed.
And all those people
Nick Cannon DJ'd.
Yeah.
Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes was training. We had freaking, what's his name?
Was Chris Rock there?
Not Chris Rock, another comedian.
Oh,
Chris Tucker. He was hosting the poker tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there were just so many,
Yeah, that is an experience for sure, especially having been around that.
Bro, it opened my eyes.
Yeah,
like, for real.
And so that was our opening weekend. And then from there, I'm like, okay, well, I can't go backwards, right?
No, you got to go up. You got to go up, yeah.
And so we've been doing that since 2019. And I'll be doing that mastermind. I'll be 70 or 80 years old. If I'm in a wheelchair, I'll still be throwing that mastermind. Like, I'm obsessed with networking and that experience.
What is your goal of the mastermind? What are you trying to accomplish with people? Like,
so there's 3 parts to it. One part is networking. So I want to bring in 100 entrepreneurs that are all doing between $5 and $50 million in sales.
Nice.
So the networking part is the business part. Saturday nights, I do a charity event every time. So I can raise 6 figures or more for charity every single time I throw a mastermind event. That starts to add up when it's been 4 years now and growing. 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures, dozens of times. And then the Sunday's the experience part. I'll rent out a stadium. There's only 100 of us. I rented out Diamondback Stadium, the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I rent out stadiums and arenas for 100 people. The other part for me selfishly is I get to interview my heroes. I'm interviewing Hulk Hogan, Mark Wahlberg, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson. Like, the people I grew up with, we all grew up with watching.
Right.
I now have a bankroll or a budget to work with to go book my favorite people in history.
And sit down with them.
Come
Chop
here.
it up with them. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, come sit next to me. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
and so that part is super fun for me. And so that's why I overspend. I could throw the same mastermind for $200,000 or $300,000 a weekend and still knock people's socks off. It would still be awesome.
Right.
But if I spend $1 or $2 million a weekend and make it ridiculous, I can I'll build a legacy brand. People will go to these.
People
masterminds
will
forever.
be willing to show up too because
Yeah.
they know it's going to be an experience.
It's unlike anything else I've seen.
Yeah.
You also started a business podcast.
Yeah.
It's already #1 in 3 months. How did you pull that off?
That was in 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just launched
Wow.
it. Today was episode 18.
Wow.
So we've been #1 for 29 days in a row. #1 entrepreneur podcast for 29 days in a row. #3 in the whole business category for 29 days in a row.
Nice.
It's really hard to stay in that because I'm up against 800-pound gorillas, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
As you guys know, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We're top 20. We're hanging
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. We're about, what, 20, 29?
Yeah.
top 20 is huge, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
You can think about it. There's almost 5 million podcasts. There's really only like a millionish that are active, a couple 100,000 that are like really
Yeah,
active,
yeah.
and then like 5 to 10,000 that are like consistently every week. So to be in the top 20 or 30 is nuts.
Right.
Like, just be really clear.
Thank you.
I mean, you guys have a lot of viral clips, and that's why I want to be so blunt today.
Right.
You guys have the most viral clips I've seen in podcasts. So I created the Money Mondays podcast because we grew up thinking it's rude to talk about money. I think
Taboo.
I think it's
Absolutely.
rude to not talk about money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the reason that we have financial illiteracy. I think that's the reason people are in credit card debt. I think it's the reason that people have so many fights. Over half of marriages end over financial.
Yeah.
Because people don't know how to have open discussions.
But
A lot of times arguments happen between friends over like $200 at a restaurant or $500 at a nightclub, and they didn't like talk about who was going to split it. Well, let's all get bottles, and like I was going to pay for it, and you're like, wait, should I pay for it? Should I pay for it?
Yeah.
Do I owe him now? Like that could have been settled with a very simple discussion or a text beforehand, like, hey guys, I'll put up $3,000, you guys put up $500 each, and blah blah. You know, like
For sure.
if I didn't say that and I expected $500 each, you guys could get mad at me or vice versa. And so the whole concept of the podcast is to have very blunt discussions about money. And I ask people during the podcast to spread the word about having these blunt discussions with your friends, family, and followers. We need people to talk about money, about loans, rent, salary, leases, taxes, FICO score. What the hell's FICO? Like, talk through these things. And that's why I think the podcast is doing so well. We're having very blunt discussions with boxers, athletes, business moguls, from a Dan Bilzerian to a cannabis guy and everybody in between. You're going to learn from people. Today is all about real estate, for example. Like, you're going to learn from people that just have really blunt discussion about money.
right. Do you think a lot of pro athletes go broke because they're not open about discussing money?
So it's a really scary stat. Over 80% of NFL players and NBA players go bankrupt, not just broke, bankrupt within 5 years of leaving the league.
Wow.
Think about that.
Crazy.
I'm around them, so I see how it happens.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I understand buying 1 or 2 cool cars, buying 1 cool watch, buying some things. I'm not saying don't buy a watch,
Yeah,
don't buy a
have
house,
fun.
etc.
But have a balance.
But bro, you don't need 6 cars.
yeah, yeah.
You don't need
Yeah.
a 19-person entourage.
Yeah, you don't need
Your cousin's friend, sister's friend doesn't need to get $8,000 a month to work with you and fly around with you and like pick up your clothes. It just doesn't. And so it's sad and frustrating to see guys we all look up to making $12 million and $30 million, and then they got to borrow $10,000 from us a few years later.
Yeah.
That's scary. It's sad because
Yeah.
they're not going to have another bite at the apple. Like, that NFL player is probably not going to go make $1 million a year anywhere else ever
No.
again. So when they go blow through $6 million in the league, what are they going to do?
I had one guy, I won't say his name, but he wanted to borrow 10 grand in exchange for his championship ring. He was already out
That's
the league. But
crazy.
he was putting that up for collateral.
Wow.
Think about that.
That's sad.
For 2 decades, that player was from 8 years old to like 20-something years old. They were fighting through high school, middle school, get into college, being the tiniest percentage to get into the league, going to get a championship in whatever sport they got. Think about that, how
Putting that up
rare
for
that
collateral.
is. And now they got to borrow $10,000.
Yeah.
For
You know how sad
collateral.
that is?
Yeah. I mean, but it like you said, it goes back to, not having that financial literacy and not being taught what to do with your money, not planting the right seeds,
Yep.
not having a balance when it comes to your spending, having $1 million in jewelry on, and for what? You
Right.
know? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's good to have fun and do things in moderation, but it's moderation.
But there's a big difference between the first watch and the fourth watch.
Right.
You become numb to it.
Yeah.
When you get your 3rd Lamborghini, you're going to become numb to it.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, and then when you go to 19 nightclubs in a row, it feels the same.
Numb.
you're going to be numb to it. And so that's why I don't preach about like, hey, don't buy your Starbucks coffee. Get your Starbucks coffee. Hey, don't buy a Rolex. Go ahead, buy your Rolex, buy a Patek. Go buy that one thing. But I promise you, the fourth car is not going to change anything. You won't even feel it.
Wow.
Buying the fourth watch, you will not even feel it. You won't care at all. Not even 1 iota. Not even the next morning.
I mean, you're right. I have 5, and I only cared about the first one, to be honest. I don't even wear the other
You don't
4.
even wear them, yeah. You wear them every now and then.
I don't even wear the one, like
You're not
barely.
even wearing a watch right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. But
I've had the same watch since 2008
Yeah.
because I want to buy a watch company. I want to invest in a watch company. I don't want to buy more watches.
Yeah.
I've had the same watch from Jason to Beverly Hills. We always joke about it. For 15 years, I've had the same watch.
Yeah.
I didn't have a car for the last 7 years. I Ubered everywhere for 7 years. Think about that. Because I
Wow.
want to invest in car companies.
So what's your vice then? Like, what do you spend money on?
Charity.
Experiences and charity.
Experiences and charity.
Mostly experiences. The charity part to me, remember, I donate a couple million a year to charity, but I'm raised a lot more. So it's not like Dan's like handing out $10 million. Like, not like I'm just making it rain to every charity. I'm specific about the main charities that I'm involved in. I donate to some of my fringe charities, like Steve Aoki's charity, things like that. Like people that I love and respect, I donate to their charities because I know that the money is going to be used wisely. But outside of that, I'm helping raise money for other people's charities. But the experience is what I spend money on. Experience is what I care about because those are the things that like we are going to reflect on because like again, life is really short.
Right.
We're going to reflect on those moments. So I want to go to these rare countries. I want to go to these rare events. I want to go to these experiences like because those are the things that we're going to remember and those are the things we're going to remember with our friends and family.
Right.
What are some things that you actually struggle with? Like what do you battle with internally, or whether it's an insecurity or some things that you have to continuously overcome or prep yourself and talk to yourself and
So the main thing is execution.
execution.
I've taken on a lot of different projects and it's a constant juggle of which one do I work on at what time of the day. And if something is slacking, I overdo it. And if I overcompensate for the one that's slacking, then what happens to the one over here?
Right.
And so I'm in a constant battle with myself of, I threw the world's largest toy drive. I'm going to do it bigger next time. Well, if I do that, it means I'm going to spend a ton of hours and months preparing for that, which will take away from acai bowl restaurants or sports cards or masterminds or social media agency. Like I have a lot of things going on. And so I've been really fighting with like, don't do anything new, just scale the things that I have. And so it's a constant struggle. I literally every morning. And sometimes I wake up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. Lately I've been waking up at 4 a.m. because I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this.
Wow.
And I don't need to do any of it, but man, I need to do all of it.
Right.
I need to.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you couldn't pay me $10 billion. This is an actual fact. You could lie detector test. You could not pay me $10 billion to stop everything.
Wow. So you're not doing it for money.
I couldn't care less about the money.
He's addicted.
I am addicted. I'm physically addicted. Hello, my name is Dan Fleyshman. I am addicted to working. Like I'm addicted to it, and I'm okay with that. And I've accepted it. Luckily, my wife has accepted it. She lets me be me, lets me be a crazy freaking bastard working on all these different things, and supports me in it. But like, I'm addicted.
So when do you do mental health checks? Like what do you do to like have that balance? Like when, things aren't going your way or you're frustrated, like, cause mental health is big.
Yep.
So what do you do? Do you work out? Like, I mean, what's your thing?
So my only true escape is poker. That's the only time.
Wow, and that's a stressful game. So you still work.
But I enjoy it. I enjoy the good and the bad of poker, and I also, what's interesting is, I enjoy the good and the bad of business. I know people are going to screw me over. I know I'm going to have lawsuits. I know employees are going to leave me. I know people are going to compete with me. I know people are going to talk shit about me. People are going to lie about me. I'm going to have all these situations. The reason I don't feel like I have the mental health problems that come up a lot is because I'm aware of it in advance and I expect it. Let me give you a quick example. If you're dating a girl for 3 years,
Right.
and every single week you guys go to dinner at 8 o'clock, and every single week she shows up at 8:40 because she's late. At some point, it's your fault to get mad at her at 8:40. You know she's going to be late because she did it over and over and over. I expect her to be late, so I make the reservation for 9 o'clock, and I tell her it's 8 o'clock, and she's going to show up at 8:40. We're going to get there at 9. Everybody's going to be okay. I do that in every aspect of my life. I know people are going to screw up. I know things aren't going to happen on time. I know this person's going to fail. I know this person's going to, I know things are bad are going to happen because I've been through so many people dying, screwing me over, et cetera, over the years that I don't want to say I'm numb to it, but I'm expecting those things to happen. And so what happens is, for a lot of people is, they go through bad mental health situations because they don't think that the bad things are going to happen. Or when the bad things happen, they overreact to them and think it's their fault. It is not your fault that that girl shows up at 8:40 each time. It's not. That's part of who she is. It's part of how she grows up. Takes her a long time to get ready, and there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, when I say a girl, it could be the guy, it could be a kid, it could be a parent. It's
just an example.
It's an example of like, if you know someone's doing something over and over and over, you're going to get mad at them. It's actually within yourself. You really have to look at those things in the situations, and I think that's why, from a mental health perspective, I'm calm in the chaos. Because I'm expecting, when I play poker, I've got pocket aces, Sean's got pocket kings, and a king comes out, and we're playing for $100,000, and he hits the king, I don't get upset. My heart rate doesn't change, because sometimes that's supposed to happen. It doesn't change the fact that I should play aces. What am I supposed to do, fold? No, I came there to play pocket aces. Sometimes Sean's going to have kings. Sometimes he's going to hit a king. Sometimes Sean's going to have aces. I'm going to have kings, and I don't hit a king. And Sean's going to win again. And in one night, he might beat me for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I am perfectly calm throughout the whole process because as long as I know that what I'm doing is right and I'm studying what I'm doing, I don't get upset with the result. Only thing I can do in my life is to be prepared for the situation. And if he gets lucky or I get lucky or this happens or the whole building falls down, like something happens, I stay calm in the chaos.
Wow. I've never met anybody who play poker when they're stressed out. That's fire.
Yeah, that's a first.
That is a first, but I get it.
What's the biggest poker hand you've played in?
I get it.
So I've been played recently a lot of hands that are over $1 million.
Holy
my
crap.
goodness.
That's
Never-
insane.
No heart rate change, no
I've never said that
no
publicly,
sweaty
by the way.
hands.
I've never talked about this at all, by the way.
No sweaty
Wow.
hands, no like
Not even a
nothing.
little bit. No. I've had some hands against some household name celebrities, some big business guys, some people that very interesting characters where we're playing and the hand is for $1.4 million. So we're in for $700,000 each.
That's a house. That's crazy.
And then 20 minutes later, the same thing happens versus another player at the table
Oh
for
my
another
God.
$1.2 million. Like,
So you've lost those hands, some
for
of those
sure.
hands.
For sure.
And it doesn't affect you at all?
Not even a little bit. Not even for a second.
Wow.
My job is to study as much as I can, be in the right situation. If I made a mistake, then I'm going to analyze it
Okay.
over and over and over. I won't be mad at the table.
But when you get home, you're gonna go over.
I still can think about it. Right when you're talking to me, I'm actually seeing hands right now. I remember situations right this
You have
second.
photographic memory.
Very visual. Only of the hands that I lost. I can tell you with extreme detail the hands that I lost.
Wow.
Not the hands that I won. Right now, I literally, as I'm looking at both of you guys, I'm seeing hands of like, I had aces, they had queens, they hit a queen for $800,000. I can see it right this second. The hands that I won, I can't see.
Wow. So you focused on the L's.
Yes, because I can't improve the wins.
No, you're
Right?
not at all.
I did what I was supposed to do. I either got lucky or didn't get lucky or didn't get unlucky, whatever the situation was. But the ones that I lost, if I played something wrong or I didn't do this right or I didn't read Sean, like I could have known Sean had ace. Like if I would have done something wrong, I'm not upset at the table. But man, that drive home that night and the next day, I'm analyzing everything about it.
For real?
man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How good's the networking in poker?
That's actually where I've met some of the biggest people in my life.
Yeah.
Because you get to sit with household name athletes. There's a lot of household name NBA players that play poker. Household name celebrities and actors, like the biggest of the biggest.
Yeah.
And so these are moments where else am I going to get to sit with that person for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, and there's only 8 other people at the table.
Right.
And most of them are like quiet because they're poker guys or business guys. Like, so if I can speak and talk, I can to network with household name NBA player, household name celebrity, big business guy, $900 million of apartments. This guy is one of the biggest selling, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get to sit there with them for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours and have real dialogue. You get to build real relationships. The only other place you could do that is like on a golf course. And even then, I don't golf though.
Yeah, I'm
And it's
not a big
different.
golfer either, yeah.
I've never, I don't do that.
Yeah.
And so like, to me, poker is my golf where I get to sit and spend time with someone. But there's people that are like the biggest names on the planet that I've got to just sit there and play with them for hundreds of hours. Like we'll play 8 hours every single week for years.
Wow.
And so from a networking perspective, it's great. That's also why I throw so many charity poker tournaments. I throw charity poker tournaments like you've been to at almost every one of our masterminds. We throw a charity poker tournament on Saturday nights. with Steve Aoki, we throw a charity poker event lots of times. At Dan Bilzerian's house, we'll throw charity poker events. Like, over the years, I've thrown so many charity poker events because it's a really good way to raise 6 figures really easily without having, like, everyone could just pitch in $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Times that by 100, you got $250,000.
Right.
Charity is ecstatic. The players are happy. Everyone has a good experience. They get to play with a bunch of football players and basketball players and musicians and rappers. Like, everyone gets to have a good time, and they're not having to donate $10,000.
Right.
Yeah.
With $500, $1,000, $2,000, can raise a lot of money for charity. So, poker is one of my biggest networking tips.
I'd love to. Go ahead.
Were you always fearless? Like, when did you develop like all these skill sets, and how were you as a kid? Were you just like always a risk taker, jumping off of fences and shit, or is this like, were you just one day like, okay, well, I'm that guy? Like, how were you as a kid, personality wise?
So when I was in high school, I worked 3 jobs simultaneously, and I lived outside. Like, my mom, we had a 1-bedroom, so like I was just outside. As soon as morning came, or I was out of school, I would be outside until it got dark at all times for my whole life. That's why also I've never been sick. My wife always jokes about it. I literally have never been to a hospital in my life.
Wow.
After high school, and so. And just being outside at all times, you just get immune to a lot of things. Anyways, and so I started my company. I was 17, and immediately we're like battling with the biggest clothing brands in the world. Did $1 million our first year, 9.5 million. We were 19. Go public when we were 23. So I just got thrown in with the wolves and dealing with a lot of crazy business stuff. And from a personal level, I had some household name NFL players, Ricky Williams and then Darrell Russell, and I watched 2 different situations. Ricky Williams, one of the best running backs of all time, who would have broke every NFL record in history, just like he broke every college record in history. Well, after what happened with the cannabis, he lost, this crazy career, this amazing career that he was going to have. My other roommate, Darrell Russell, he gets into a bad situation. He gets falsely accused of something. Loses his situation with the Raiders and then the Buccaneers, etc., and then tragically dies. Just runs into a bus on Santa Monica Boulevard at 6 a.m. And so losing my roommate, losing a roommate to watch their career fall apart due to something that's now perfectly legal, which is cannabis. And then 2, my dearest friend just crashed in the back of a car, and this huge football player that's one of the best of all time just gone. I had that feeling of like, man, life is really short.
Right.
And then another friend passed away, another friend passed away, another friend passed away, family member passed away. And so like after 10, 15, 20 people start passing away, and some of them I have to rewatch it for years because they're well-known people, and then watching it all over the news.
Do you ever cry?
I have cried.
Yeah.
It's really rare. I did cry when the football player passed away, when Darrell passed away, I cried.
When did you stop crying?
When it starts happening a lot, there's less emotion to it.
Gotcha.
Because again, it's this weird thing where like you start to like feel like it's going to happen. And so I've had some people pass away that are like, I had 3 business friends pass away in the last 2 months.
Whoa.
Damn.
Like,
Insane. You're young too.
And so like, and I didn't cry for any of those, which I wish I would have, but I don't have that for a lot of people. But like,
What do you mean you wish you would have, but you don't have that for a lot of people?
I wish I would have. I wish I still had that emotion.
Oh, I got
I
you.
wish
You're
I still had that-
desensitized.
I wish I had that button still.
Yeah, same.
However,
Yeah.
if my puppy passed away, I would cry.
Facts. If my
I
dog
would.
passed away.
A different attachment.
And I say that not to say like I would like to cry for more people, but it's happened so often. I can think of 24 off the top of my head that are close to me, not just like the kind of know them or like you know of them or you've met them occasionally. Like these are actual like friends or people that have travel with me, live with me, go to dinner with me, like close people that have passed away. When you start to get to a number like 20 plus, it starts again. I don't want to say numb to it, but like. It's
no,
different.
that's what it has. So
That's a lot,
You
yeah.
become numb. Yeah.
And so there are situations where I wish I would, and I think the only ones that I have cried over is my grandfather, not my grandmother, even though I'm super close to her. I like think about the fact of how rare I cry.
Yeah, I don't cry often, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think you kind of get numb to it. I cried a lot as a kid.
Just
I have nothing
it's
against
like-
crying.
No, I know, but
if you trigger something now, I would cry right now, and wouldn't feel bad about crying on camera. I have nothing against crying. I think it's very healthy for people to cry.
Right.
And again, some of my closest family and friends call me like a robot because I don't have the emotions that I'm aware of the emotions, but I don't really have them because I've had so many tragedies from business friends screwing me over, people passing away, situations that go wild. Like I just had so many of them happen that there's just not very many things that could make me cry outside of like, you know, my dogs.
I don't think a lot of guys would admit it either.
No, because crying is something that, again, as men, we all, some people just don't cry. They deal with it in different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you deal with your emotions in different ways.
I think it's powerful now. The last few years we've watched during championship games or boxing matches, etc., or UFC fights, they show them crying. I think it's very powerful people to see big burly men crying. I think it's important for them to see it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
It is a powerful emotion that's releasing something inside of them, whether it's a past trauma, a tragedy, or they just worked for a decade to get to that moment, and then they lose the World Series of Poker and they get second. They lose Boston versus Miami. They lose Game 7 to blah, blah, blah. Like, they fought their whole lives to be in that moment, and then they lose. I think it's important for us to see a LeBron James or a Steph Curry or a Conor McGregor. Like, seeing them cry, I think is important for our society, for men
Absolutely.
to see it, that it's perfectly okay to cry.
Yeah. Man, it's been a blast, Dan. What's next
It's
for
over?
you? It's been 30 minutes.
Oh my God, man. Damn.
What's next for you? What are you trying to promote?
The Money Mondays is obviously, I'm passionate about that. The world's largest toy drive is coming up this December. I'm going to try to do 10 cities.
Wow.
Oh, you're doing 10 cities?
Yeah.
Is Vegas one of them?
Yeah.
I'll help out with that one.
Yeah, for sure.
10 cities because our 10-year anniversary,
Yeah.
you know?
You definitely want to be involved in that.
Yeah. So, yeah. Podcast, charity. Those are the main things. You know, people, sports cards, obviously, cards and
Oh,
coffee.
yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, we opened up here at the Mandalay Bay. That's our 9th store with Marshawn Lynch. That's a fun one. But yeah, I'm sure I'll just come back. You know, this 30 minutes went by so fast.
Yeah, damn.
We'll have to do a part 2 for sure.
Yeah,
Wayne?
feel like it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at The Creator. It'll pop up around here somewhere.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Digital Social Hour. I'll see you next time.
Peace.